Joe, good to see you. How you doing? Evening. You're the first one in, Joe. Paul, good to see you. How you doing? Evening. How you been, Paul? Come on, good to see you as well, brother. How you doing? How you been? Jason, evening. Good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Theo's good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? So let's go through a gist of what we're going to go through. A lot of things have been happening tonight. A lot of things have been happening on the news. A lot of perspective news to go through, banking perspective and data perspective, awards. There's been crypto awards that we're going to go from tonight's live show. Ripple news, a lot of Ripple news actually, XRP news. Bitcoin news, Ethereum news, Solana news, banking news, data reports, awards, CBDC news, a lot of news to cover on tonight's live show. I'm okay, mate. Thank you. Let's go, Paul. Can I say hello? How you doing, JP? Dennis, good to see you as well. How you doing? So, on tonight's episode of the CMF live show, episode 176, we are going to be talking about Standard Chartered Bank and their new prediction on 3 particular crypto assets. Then we're going to go through the news topic on tonight's live show regarding US regulators limiting banking operations when it comes to crypto companies. And then we're going to go through the news topic on tonight's live show regarding Crypto.com suing essentially the SEC because they're tired of still no regulations and policies inside the United States. Then we're going to go through the news topic on tonight's live show regarding Hong Kong. Hong Kong and the SFC in Hong Kong are going to be licensing about a dozen crypto firms by the end of the year. And a lot of people are anticipating that this could be a catalyst for the crypto space, a massive positive news. Then we're going to go through the news topic on tonight's live show regarding one particular crypto asset receiving an award, essentially an award for a US patent. Then we're going to go through the news topic on tonight's live show regarding Franklin Templeton and Polychain investing into a particular crypto project. I'll reveal what the project is once we get to that news. Then we're going to go through the news topic of Samsung partnering up with a crypto firm. Now, we know for a fact that Sony partnered with Ethereum, essentially, to build their Sonium chain. And I said for a while that Samsung is looking into some sort of partnerships to enter the blockchain space. So I'm going to be revealing to you who Samsung decided to partner up with. Then we're going to go through the news topic on tonight's live show regarding State Street. State Street is going to be pushing into tokenization to modernize essentially the finance space, which is massive if State Street is going to be doing this. Then we're going to go through the news topic on tonight's live show regarding the global cryptocurrency adoption. So I'll be revealing to you what the percentage of the global cryptocurrency adoption so far is and how lucky every single one of you are inside the crypto space. And then we're going to go through the news topic on tonight's live show regarding Senator Luminous, once again urging that Bitcoin should fix essentially the Treasury's critical value gap. And then we're going to go through the news topic on tonight's live show regarding Goldman Sachs, essentially comparing Bitcoin and gold. And let's see if they have a positive outcome or a negative outcome once we get to that news. And then we're going to go through the news topic on tonight's live show, which is quite a critical one, which is Ripple's CTO talking about XRP. And then when we get to that news, I'll reveal what he exactly said about XRP and how it's a positive. Also, we're going to talk about Paolo on tonight's live show as well. Everybody remember Paolo, the first essentially country to be using the CBDC platform from Ripple? Well, we have an update from Paolo. We're also going to go for the news topic on tonight's live show regarding why the SEC Ripple appeal won't hold up in court. Something that I said a while ago. And then we're going to go for the news topic of XRP essentially, getting another ETF filed in. And then we're going to go for the news topic of one particular asset receiving an award today for cross-border payments. This particular crypto asset that received a cross-border payments essentially award received the Platinum edition, which is the highest you could possibly get for cross-border payments. Once we get to that news, I'll reveal who that crypto project is. So a lot of news to cover, a lot of Ripple news to cover, Bitcoin news to cover, Solana, Ethereum news to cover, Franklin Templeton news to cover, Goldman Sachs news to cover, Hong Kong news to cover, US regulators and banks to cover, suings to go through on tonight's live show. A lot of things have been happening today, especially and tonight on the crypto space. And obviously tonight is also the same night that the Bitcoin, identity is going to be released, apparently from HBO. But let's see. So before we go through any of those news topics, and the first one we are going to go through is regarding Standard Chartered Bank, I would just like to say welcome to everyone that's watching right now. Welcome to the CMF live show. This live show stands for Crypto Mouse Family. And on this live show, every single night, you can tune in on X Live or YouTube right now. And I talk about the most recent things that's happening around the world in terms of cryptocurrency, CBDCs, AI, politics, regulations, vital information for you to know about if you're inside the crypto space. So once again, welcome if you are new, and if you're regular, let's go CMF. And the disclaimer of this live show, as always, is not financial advice, not political advice, and whatever I say is only for entertainment purposes. And we also do Q&As on this live show as well, which means if you have any questions, do not be shy. Put them down inside the comment section. I'll be more than happy to help you out. And also, we do quizzes sometimes on this live show as well, which you can get involved in. Now, the first news we are going to be covering is regarding Standard Chartered Bank. But before we go through that news, let's go inside the comment section first. Let's see what's happening there, and then we go through the first news. So, good evening, Miles and all CMF. Can't wait for another great live. Let's go, Addy. How you doing? Scott, hello, Miles. Good to see you as well. How you doing? Morning, boss. Good to see you as well. Shelly, how you doing? Good evening, Miles and family. Bull XRP, good to see you as well. How you doing? Hello, Miles and CMF. Been a while not being on the live because they refuse to pay TV and as such cannot watch lives apparently. Currently in Portugal for a few days, so I'm free to watch LOL. Let's go, Denise. How you doing? Comatose. Hello, Miles and CMF. Good to see you as well. How you doing? If you do not mind, please share the live, family. Let's go. By the way, thank you so much to everyone that's retweeted this live right now and shared this live to everyone around them, and also like this live on X. And thank you so much to everyone on YouTube who's been liking the live show as well at the beginning. Absolutely amazing. Thanks so much to everyone. Good evening, Miles and family. Good to see you as well, Funky brother. How you doing? Evening, Miles and family. Ian, good to see you as well. How you doing, brother? Hello to CMF on YouTube. Let's go, Scott. Yo, Miles. How you doing, Knox? How you been? If you do not mind, share the live. Let's go. Let's go, Scott. Good evening, Miles and CMF. Free Faber. Good to see you as well. How you doing? Mav. Good evening, Miles and CMF. Let's go. How you doing, Mav? Now, first topic on tonight's live show is from Standard Chartered Bank. Miles the Goat. How you doing, Golden Dragon? Good to see you as well. Perfect timing. About to go for the first topic, which is Standard Chartered Bank. Standard Chartered Bank predicts a 5x for Solana's price as active addresses surge. Now, Standard Chartered Bank has been backing Solana for quite a while right now, comparing to Ethereum essentially. But what's interesting is they've decided to give their perspectives on the political campaign with the crypto space. So, Standard Chartered Bank has predicted that Solana's price may go up in value 5 times by the end of 2025 if Donald Trump essentially wins the upcoming presidential election. Apparently, if Donald Trump wins the presidential election, it's excellent for Solana. I will take it a step further and say it's excellent for the crypto space in general. But this outlook comes as Solana's user base grows, with the network essentially seeing more than 100 million monthly active addresses on the first time. Speaking to the financial institutions, global head of digital assets research, Jeff Kendrick, the potential scenarios of Solana, Bitcoin, and Ethereum, depending on the 2024 US presidential election, were revealed. So this is a perspective coming out from Goldman Sachs, essentially on, a perspective coming out from Standard Chartered Bank on what will happen depending on which candidate is chosen. So let's go through the perspective of this bank. According to Kendrick from Standard Chartered Bank, Sol's price may rise 5 times by 2025, given that Donald Trump may maintain a pro-crypto stance during his presidency. Coherently, Ethereum could see a 4x increase in its scenario, while Bitcoin might rise a 3-fold. As for Solana's ecosystem, Kendrick thinks that it would be better off under Trump administration. There's also the possibility that Solana ETF could be launched to the market, which could lead to an increase in the adoption investments for Solana. He also emphasized that Solana should increase its transaction speed, since it might increase to 100 to 400 times next few years, thanks to the fire dance essentially validated clients. Now, Kendrick from Standard Chartered Bank also outlined a different scenario if Kamala Harris wins the presidency. In this case, the bank predicted that Bitcoin is expected to outperform Ethereum, which would outperform Solana. Nonetheless, Standard Chartered Bank also remains bullish on Bitcoin and has projected that one Bitcoin will hit $200,000 by the end of 2025, a perspective coming from Standard Chartered Bank. In respect of the US elections, Ethereum could rise to $7,000 under Harris, while it could jump to $10,000 under Donald Trump's. As for Solana, it could be less effective due to the strict regulatory, essentially, frameworks. Apart from the election, Solana has a long-term growth due to its growth of its ecosystem and technological improvements. During, essentially, the survey, Kendrick highlighted the role of Firedancer, a third-party validator client that is focused on raising Solana's TPS to 1 million. This is important for Solana because it aims to become a go-to platform in sectors that require a lot of essentially throughput, including finance, consumer services, and decentralized physical infrastructure networks. Deepin, apart from Firedancer, other signs of Solana's growth have boosted the prospects, increasing the number of users that has the network been able to attract. So, according to Standard Chartered Bank, if Donald Trump wins the election, then the crypto markets can see Bitcoin reaching $200,000 by the end of 2025. They can also see Ethereum reaching $10,000 by the end of 2025. And they can also see Solana doing a 5x by the end of 2025 if Donald Trump wins, a perspective coming from Standard Chartered Bank. Standard Chartered Bank also gave their other perspective. If Kamala Harris wins, what will happen next? They said that Bitcoin will do okay for itself. Ethereum wouldn't do $10,000, but it will do $7,000 by the end of 2025. And Solana wouldn't do that great because of the scrutiny that's going to be coming for other altcoins from the SEC. So, a perspective from Standard Chartered Bank is basically, if Donald Trump wins, Gary Gensler loses his job and regularity comes inside the United States. And if Kamala Harris wins, Gary Gensler probably gets to keep his job, and the SEC continues scrutinizing the crypto space, which means altcoins will have a struggle inside the United States economy, while the other two performing coins, Bitcoin and Ethereum, due to their Ethereums, will start climbing the ladders, which I can't disagree with that whatsoever. I agree with Standard Chartered Bank. Trump comes in, it's a positive for the crypto space, and Gary Gensler loses his job. Kamala comes in, it's a negative for the crypto space, and the scrutiny will continue. There's just no way anybody can disagree with that. There's not even a possibility anybody can disagree with that. Now, moving off Standard Chartered Bank's perspective to US regulators. Do you want me to, here's the thing. I'm going to be telling you right now how much scrutiny is happening. Now, we all know that, the SEC is not letting go of Ripple by this random appeal, which is going to get tossed out. We also know that the SEC is suing everything pretty much inside the crypto space. Well, here's more scrutiny inside the crypto space from the SEC side and the banking side. US regulators limit bank operations with crypto firms. US federal bank regulators are imposing restrictions on banks that serve the crypto industry. This action follows a series of bankruptcies last March where authorities held cryptocurrencies accountable for the failures. Here's the thing. FTX's scenario that was supposed to be looked in by the SEC while FTX was still operational, Gary Gensler didn't do his job properly. And some might say it was on purpose that Gary Gensler didn't do his job properly, because if you go down that rabbit hole, Gary Gensler and essentially FTX's parents and Elizabeth Warren share the same accountant, believe it or not. So you could also say that was Gary Gensler's fault regarding FTX, but they're blaming FTX's scenario from a very long time ago on today. Today, they decided to limit banks inside the United States because of what happened to FTX a very long time ago, which was Gary Gensler's job to stop it, even though they share the same accountant. Now, the Federal Reserve Board and the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, FDIC, which overlooks all the banks essentially inside the United States, have requested a certain banks to limit deposits from crypto companies to 15% of their total deposits for the risk management purposes. Regulators are concerned about the real-time payment platforms favored by crypto firms, which can operate 24/7 outside of normal business hours. So, the banks that are, essentially much more easier to use inside the crypto space, that are 24/7 banks, essentially, with, banks like Revolut, for example, and so on, they have been ordered to limit their crypto holdings. The director of Silvergate, for example, indicated that her bank decided to cease operations due to the mounting pressure following the FTX collapse. Other banks included Customers Bank, Cross River Bank and Western Alliance Bank are facing similar regulatory essentially scrutiny as well. Officials from the Cooper and Kirk law firm believe the ongoing pressure is not legally justified. I'll be honest, nothing Gary Gensler does and his team of morons is legally justified. Limiting crypto deposits may violate the principle of due purpose in the Constitution, is essentially what this law firm is saying to the FIDIC. And the essentially chairman of the FIDIC is also best pals with Elizabeth Warren. So you can see where this one's going. While some legal experts argue that regulators are overstepping their boundaries, others maintain that banks are acting within their risk management protocols. Regulators state that these restrictions are aimed at preventing banks from becoming overly dependent on specific industries. However, the crypto industry, the situation is referred to as Operation Chokehold Point 2. Concerns persist that regulatory pressure is making it difficult for crypto companies to access US dollars. Banks report that they are reevaluating their business models due to these restrictions. While some banks are stopping operations due to the limits on crypto deposits, others have to update their risk management strategies. Opinions may vary on the legality of these regulations imposed on crypto deposits. Some experts argue that these restrictions do not violate the Administrative Process Act, while others view them as a constitutional infringement. Representatives from the banks and the crypto industries claim that regulatory pressure negatively impacts the sector and restricts financial access. Although regulators aim to essentially ensure banks maintain a healthy and diversified essentially deposit portfolio, these measures hinder banks' abilities to serve crypto companies. Okay, do you know what's interesting? So what the FIDIC has introduced that overlooks all the banking regulators inside the United States, essentially, what they've introduced is banks limiting their crypto assets because they're saying they're doing banks a favor. But you know what's interesting? This doesn't apply to every bank inside the United States. It only applies to banks that are already crypto friendly, essentially, the banks that operate 24/7, banks like Revolut, for example, and so on. These are the banks that are being ordered inside the United States to slow down their crypto adoptions. While the rest of the world is, essentially fast tracking their adoption to crypto innovation and AI innovation and Web3 innovation and data innovation, the FIDIC is telling essentially banks inside the United States to slow down their operations. But they're only telling the crypto-friendly banks, and a few banks were targeted based on this law. But you know which bank wasn't targeted? JP Morgan. They never told JP Morgan to slow down at all. They never told essentially any other bank like Bank of America or any other bank inside the United States, for example, the one that was just essentially green-lighted to get involved inside the crypto space, exempt from the SAB 121 Act. But they're telling crypto-friendly banks to slow down while the conventional banks can catch up, basically. I don't know if that adds to innovation, but what it does look like is manipulation. It's very simple. Even law firms are coming out and saying, well, this sounds like manipulation. Now, moving off the chokehold point, that's essentially the FIDIC and Elizabeth Warren strike again once again, to another news coming out of the United States, Crypto.com. The crypto exchange Crypto.com has filed a lawsuit against the US SEC because they're tired of Gary Gensler not doing his job. Crypto.com, crypto exchange, has announced that it's suing the US Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC. This is in response to the Wells notice issued by the SEC back in August, which serves as a formal warning that the agency may pursue legal actions against the company, so they decide to do their jobs for them. The CEO of Crypto.com announced on X that the firm filed a lawsuit against the SEC to protect the future of crypto inside the United States. We are doing so to protect the future of crypto industries inside the United States, joining a series of our peers who are actively defending themselves and taking action against misguided federal agency acting beyond its authorization under the law, he said. Crypto.com argues that the SEC has overstepped its authorities and is hindering the growth of crypto in such industries inside the United States. Crypto.com's lawsuits points out that the SEC has not treated all cryptocurrencies equally. For instance, while Bitcoin and Ethereum have mostly escaped regulatory scrutiny, other similar tokens are facing possible enforcement actions. You know what's good about Crypto.com? Essentially going after the SEC, Crypto.com received a Wells notice by the SEC, which basically means the SEC is going to look into your company somewhere down the road, and you could be sued and liable for some certain things. Crypto.com decided to take it upon themselves to counter that and sue the SEC instead. But what's interesting about Crypto.com is Crypto.com has came out and said, why is the SEC favoring crypto projects compared to the rest? Why is the SEC favoring Bitcoin? Why is the SEC favoring Ethereum? And why they've chosen to go against every other crypto asset, even though they're all in the same category. The lawsuit contends that the SEC has essentially unliterally expanded its jurisdictions beyond statutory limits. According to the exchange, the SEC has established an unlawful rule that treats trades in nearly all crypto assets as security transactions, while exempting Bitcoin and Ethereum without clear reason. Crypto.com is asking some serious questions right now from the SEC. Why is Bitcoin and Ethereum favorited is what Crypto.com is asking right now in their lawsuit against the SEC filed today. Crypto.com is also asking, why has nobody from the SEC giving a reason why Ethereum has been green-lighted? Why has Bitcoin been green-lighted? What's your reasonings, SEC? You've never revealed them. However, Crypto.com isn't the only one taking legal action against the SEC. Earlier this year, crypto companies including Consensus and Binance also took SEC to court after getting similar warnings. Consensus, a blockchain tech company, filed its lawsuits in early 2024, citing that the SEC was unfairly targeting their products without clear reasonings. Binance, one of the largest cryptocurrency exchanges in the world, has also been in the long legal fight with the SEC, claiming that the agency has not clarified which digital assets it considers securities. In addition to the lawsuits, Crypto.com is asking both the SEC and the Commodities Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, for clear regulations. The company has submitted a petition to determine if specific cryptocurrencies essentially derived from products should be regulated solely based on by the CFTC. However, Crypto.com assures that its customers that its operations will continue as normal, and the exchange is licensed in over 40 states and is registered with the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, the FinCEN. So, Crypto.com, what I like about Crypto.com is the suings that they did right now, what they filed in. Because the rest of the crypto firms, Coinbase and so on, they filed against the SEC as well and said the SEC is not bringing out clear regulations, which I get and I completely understand. Kraken sued the SEC and said, why don't you come out with regulations, which is similar to the Coinbase case, which I get and I understand. Binance, the same lawsuit as well. Why don't you bring out regulations? All these crypto firms are suing the SEC right now, and Crypto.com is one us today of why don't you bring out regulations? But what I like about Crypto.com is they've added some extra things on their lawsuit. One, why is Bitcoin and Ethereum not a security, but everything else is, even though they're all in the same category? Two, why is Bitcoin and Ethereum receiving special treatment is what Crypto.com filed in their lawsuit against any other cryptocurrencies. Why are they receiving special treatment? What's the reasoning? You still haven't revealed it. Three, the CFTC should be the one handling the lawsuits is what essentially the Crypto.com has put inside their lawsuit. So very different. I'll be honest. Every other company has filed against the SEC for legitimate reasons. Bring out policies. We need regulations. We need clarity is what every company has filed in. But Crypto.com took it a step further and said, why is special treatment happening to certain crypto projects and not the rest? What's the reasoning, Gary Gensler? Do you have something to hide, is what they're asking. Now, while the United States is going back and forward still, and Gary Gensler still has his job, on the other side of the pond, Hong Kong. Hong Kong is about to be giving out licensings to about a dozen crypto firms. And some people are suggesting that this could be a catalyst for a rise in price when it comes to crypto assets if Hong Kong is about to be a bit more open and start dishing out crypto licensings to get everybody on board. But before we go through that news, let's go inside the comment section first. By the way, this is a live show, which means if you have any questions, put it down inside the comment section. Do not be shy. I'm reading everyone's comments one by one. Even if you are new, don't be shy if you have a question about cryptocurrencies, policies, regulations, so on. Go for it. I meant TV license. Good evening, Miles and family. How are you doing? I'm doing great, Carlos. Good to see you as well. How you doing? Good evening, Miles and CMF. Orphan. Good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? George. Hi, Miles and CMF. Good to see you as well, brother. How you doing? Happy Pisces. Good to see you as well. How you doing? Gensler will answer for all he has done with the full force of the law. Hopefully. Hi, CMF family and Miles. Hope you are all fine. It's time to turn on my CMF TV. Let's go for the facts. News. Welcome to see you guys. Let's go. Carl, how you doing? Very true. Eve got a free pass. He couldn't even answer if Eve was a security. True. Very true. Okay. Hong Kong. Hong Kong's SFC to license nearly a dozen crypto platforms by the year end. Nearly a dozen crypto platforms are under review in Hong Kong as the Hong Kong Securities and Futures Commission seeks to authorize more platforms by the end of this year. The regulator is reportedly planning to grant licensings in batches to virtual asset trading platforms to enhance compliance. The move is also expected to build a more regulated environment for cryptocurrency exchanges in Hong Kong. This comes aimed at criticism from various stakeholders of regulators over its strict regulatory requirements for licensings of platforms. Apparently, Hong Kong was slightly strict on their regulations and policies, and they've loosened it up a little bit now, and they're going to be handing out licensings in bulk. The SFC from Hong Kong Chief Executive Julia told essentially local platforms HK01 today essentially and that 11 platforms seeking approvals to operate in crypto businesses had gone through on-site evaluations, although the 11 are now under the deemed to be licensed status. The SFC in Hong Kong has warned traders about engaging with the firms until they are fully licensed. Julia also noted that the regulator expects much progress in the application process before year end, which is also in line with their plans for granting more approvals. This also falls within the regulatory's broader, essentially 2-year plan for 2024 to 2026, which includes improving regulations for the crypto industry in Hong Kong. According to the regulators, the applications that fail to meet the regulatory requirements risk losing their licensing qualifications, while the compliant ones get conditional licensing. Julia also essentially revealed during the interview that the regulator will support the tokenization of traditional products. The SFC also wants to explore the use of regional blockchain and Web3 technologies as it promotes a fair market in Hong Kong. This coincidentally comes as the financial regulators celebrate its 35-year anniversary. Recently, the regulator authorized the local exchange HK-VAX, which intends to start operating in the final quarter of this year. HK-VAX is the third essentially bros to have a regulatory approval in Hong Kong to already be operational in terms of Hashkey and OSL that also recently renewed their licensings. Banking on the growing confidence, CoinDesk is also seeking a license as it already applied as well. Although the SFC website shows up to 16 platforms under novel licensing regulations and cumulative numbers of applicants remain vague, many stakeholders have criticized the licensing process, calling it excessively rigid, while others opine that this will essentially pose a barrier to Hong Kong's aspirations of becoming a global cryptocurrency hub. A report released back in August unearthed the unsatisfactory practices like substandard executives' oversight of clients' assets and weak cybercrime defense as some. A recent South China Morning Post also reported that the withdrawal of applications might result as a SFC string of movements, shining mainland China's natives from gaining access to their services. If you ever wondered to yourself, how does these Chinese investors keep on investing into cryptocurrencies? Because it was revealed within a few months, $46 billion enter the crypto space from Chinese market spaces is because they're doing it from Hong Kong. Additionally, the SFC has been criticized for seemingly failing to handle rogue exchanges that let China, for example, Chinese investors buy through Hong Kong that have caused significant losses for clients. Last year, Dubai-based JPEX also collapsed, which resulted in an estimated 2,600 Hong Kong residents losing about $200 million. Critics blame the regulators over the demands of the exchange and the losses of the clients incurred. This prompted the SFC to publish a list of licensed and suspicious stock exchanges to improve awareness and transparency, according to the Finance Migates. The JPEX incident also pushed the SFC to increase its efforts to regulate the industry and creating a task force of collaborations with the police to tackle illegal activities inside the market space. Today, the retail investors are limited to trading full crypto assets, while the SFC has faced a lot of criticism from stakeholders for their slow pace of regulatory developments. I'll be honest, Hong Kong should not be angry at their SFC for being slow on regulations. Trust me, if you live inside the United States, it's a lot more worse when it comes to the SEC. But the regulators remains upbeat of finalizing its regulatory frameworks for crypto by the year end. Going forward, the SFC is now looking into laws governing the over-counter cryptocurrencies, trading and custody services with advice and expertise from industry specialists. So, while the US regulators today announced they're going to be slowing down, banks from holding crypto assets, and the SEC being sued once again by another crypto firm. On the other side of the pond, Hong Kong is getting ready to dish out licensings, and by the year end, they will have a full set of regulations that could maybe even compete with the MiCA regulations coming out of the EU market space. But it really does show you how one country is trying to stifle movements inside the crypto space, while the other is trying to get everything done by the end of the year. Now, moving off Hong Kong news, which also some people are estimating that Hong Kong's news of greenlighting, in bulk crypto firms could also be a catalyst of more money entering the crypto space, could be a positive for the crypto space. But moving off that news to another news, which is which crypto project, here's a question that I want everybody to answer inside the comment section. Which crypto project do you think has received an award of a US patent for blockchain-based identity authentication? Which crypto project has just received an award for a US patent today? Inside the comment section, everybody take a guess right now. CMF members, if you're watching this for the first time as well, get involved inside the comment section right now. Which crypto project do you think has received an award, a US patent, which is a big deal? Let's see who gets it right. Okay, I'll give you one clue as well. It's not a crypto project you hear that often, but you definitely know it. So it's not a crypto project that you hear often, but all of you definitely know it. Lena, good to see you. So how you doing? How you been? While I go through the comment section, everybody put your answers inside the comment section. Let's see who gets the answer correct. Even if you are new, comment. If you're watching us for the first time ever, comment, get involved. It's a quiz. Let's see who gets it right. Which crypto project got awarded a US patent for blockchain-based identity authentication, which is a big deal? Very true. If got a free Miles, don't mind me asking one question. I've been watching you night after night for nearly 18 months. Almost every night I hear very bullish news, but why is our ban still the same? I hear all these massive news, but I have nothing to show for it. Maybe it's manipulation and corruption and issues, but when we are going to see any profits? I have gained a lot of knowledge, but no gains. Patience is what I would have to say. Look, when I announce, I've said this a million times and I'll say it again. When I announce, for example, one company getting a contract with a bank. So when I say this crypto project got a contract with this bank, it's major announcements, but it doesn't mean you're going to see instant gains when you go home tonight. Okay, when two companies form a partnership together, it will take years or months, depending on what they're trying to build, before you see any results on the market space. So you've got to understand, and what you need to do is keep your mindset out of Hollywood and come back to reality is what I would say. I said this before and I'll say it again. In Hollywood, when two companies sign a contract with each other, the next day, everybody makes millions of dollars. In reality, when two companies come together, do a contract, they're going to deep development mode, which will take you months or years, depending on what they're trying to build before you can see any gains on your projects. So if you're holding legitimate assets, you've got to understand that what they're trying to build is going to take time. It's not going to be happening overnight. And I've always said, money's not made overnight, it's made over time. So if you've been listening to me all this time, and I've been telling you all these announcements, which are all legitimate announcements, and they're all facts added from the Bank of International Settlements, International Monetary Fund, World Economic Forum, wherever I got the facts from, or Goldman Sachs, Franklin Templeton announcements, JP Morgan announcements, BlackRock announcements, whatever, or Ripple announcements. These announcements are all massive bullish news, but whatever these announcements are, they're all always linked to some sort of a contract, and contracts take time to develop. It could take months or years, depending on what they're trying to build. So what I would say is, if you've been listening to me all this time, you should know one very good fact, or one very good saying that I always use. Money's not made overnight, it's made over time. Always remember that. Money's not made overnight, it's made over time. If you're holding legitimate projects, then you've got to let those contracts mature. So don't be impatient. Miles, to use your word, orchestrated, this all seems way too orchestrated. Lawsuits with are so ridiculous, distracting, and putting people in fear to not even enter for the first time in crypto. It does seem very orchestrated, yes. XDC and XLM, Scott, is also okay. So the question that I asked, which was, which crypto project received an award for a US patent, which is a massive announcement? And let's see what the answers are inside the comment section. So which crypto project received an award today for a US patent? The answers that we got inside the comment section are Scott, XDC and XLM. Okay. Shelly says, is this a trick question? No, it's not a trick question. It's not a trick question, but the crypto project is a crypto project that you don't hear too often, but you definitely know it. Kamal says XRP got an award today. Yeah, we're going to go through that on tonight's lecture. Orphan says Algo. Shelly says ARB. Interesting. Carl says XRP. JP says Chainlink. These are all interesting picks. Bilal says, hey, CMF and Miles, how are you? I'm doing great, Bilal. Good to see you. How are you doing? Jason says Pepe's granddad. Bull says WorldCoin. Kamal says, okay, I'm wrong about this question, but XRP did get an award. Yes. Carl Civic. Carlos Solano. G says, I don't know. Camel says, I understand time is needed, but we will see the high prices by 27. For Corp, etc. Camel says XRP. Okay, the answer is something that none of you would expect, and neither was I when I read the news. VeChain. So this is why I said it's a crypto project you don't hear too often inside the crypto space, but you definitely know it. VeChain was just awarded a US patent for blockchain-based identity authentication. VeChain earns a US patent, US 12,93419B2 for identification authentication patent. The patent system essentially employs encryption keys and blockchain for secure identity verifications. VeChain's innovations promises better security for industries like finance, healthcare, and supply chains. Blockchain platform VeChain has received an approval for a US patent for identifying authentication methods, which is significant breakthrough in the blockchain technology space. The patent under US 1293419B2 covers VeChain's advanced methods and devices to manage user identity authentication data. This deployment strengthens blockchain roles in securing sensitive data, especially identity in terms of management. In key areas like industries like finance, healthcare, and supply chains, is a major step forward for blockchain-based security technologies. So, it's a crypto project that everybody knows, but you don't hear it too often. So VeChain. So if you are holding VeChain, if you're still holding VeChain, if anybody out there is holding VeChain, it's a massive positive news for you there. Now, a crypto project that is receiving fundings from Franklin Templeton, which is a big deal, and Polychain has just essentially raised another $9 million. And I'll reveal who it is once we go through the comment section. Guessing XRP. I think I got half of it right, lol. I would never have guessed that. You misread my question. Shay, that sounds like someone I know. Okay. BitLayer 2. So a Bitcoin Layer 2 platform, BitLayer, has extended its recent Series A roundings of fundings, attracting additional capital from previous investors like Franklin Templeton and Polychain Capital. A Bitcoin essentially Layer 2 project by the name of BitLayer has just raised $9 million from Franklin Templeton, which is a very big deal. Franklin Templeton is investing into you. According to the announcement that was released today, the startup secured an additional $9 million in fundings from SCB Limited, Shelley Capital, and G20 Group. Also, Franklin Templeton and Polychain were also participants in this round. BitLayer is behind the OPVM solution, a new technology that combines two types of proofs, fraud proofs and validity proofs, essentially to create a verification solution for Bitcoin's base layer. It enables the network to verify a broad range of essentially computations supporting the securities and functionalities of protocols running on the Bitcoin network. BitLayer's mainnet went live in April 2024 and has assumed nearly $900 million in fees in September alone. According to the data from DeFi Llama, at the time of writing, it has a total volume locked of $380.7 million. The additional capital will support the upcoming launch of BitLayer version 2. Also backing the startup of venture firms such as Framework Ventures, ABCD Stock War, OKX Ventures, Alliance DAO, and UTXO Management. In March, BitLayer raised essentially $5 million in seed rounds, followed by $11 million in Series A rounds in July. The startup total funding to date stands at $25 million. A lot of venture capitalists are funding this crypto project that's building on the Bitcoin network. But the biggest, essentially, one, in terms of their venture capitalists that are funding them, the biggest one is without a doubt Franklin Templeton. In a previous interview of Cointelegraph, BitLayer's co-founder Charlie noted that Franklin Templeton was essentially exploring alternatives to unlock yield for its clients through digital assets through the Bitcoin network. So this is where BitLayer comes in. They're sitting on $500 million of Bitcoin exposure, and they want to earn more yield for their clients, noted the co-founder during an exclusive interview at the Bitcoin 2024 conference that recently happened. According to Charlie, the startup and the investment manager are currently in the exploration stage of the potential joint project. We've been actively exploring this cooperation with Franklin Templeton on the Bitcoin staking and ecosystem development side, Charlie said. He also added a number of BitLayer ecosystem partners, including Lorenzo, SaltLayer, Lambert, and April Protocol, have also recently received investments from Franklin Templeton as well, highlighting this increased level of cooperation. So it seems like Franklin Templeton is looking for a way for their investors to make money on top of their Bitcoins that they're holding. And Franklin Templeton has decided to fund a crypto project by the name of essentially BitLayer that's building on the Bitcoin network, because Franklin Templeton wants their high-profile clients to earn some yield, which I completely understand. But what I would say is, if you're somebody that's really into Bitcoin, if you're a complete Bitcoin maxi or so on, and you're looking for new ways for Bitcoin and so on, what investments you should be going for, what research you should be doing, BitLayer is what you should be really looking into, because they're receiving massive amounts of fundings. So far, $25 million in seed money to build on their network. Now, what we're going to talk about next is Samsung. Samsung has decided to partner up with a crypto project. Now, a while ago, Sony partnered up with essentially Ethereum and Graph Network and a few of the crypto projects to build their Sonium chain. Samsung, I said for a while now, is looking to partner up with some crypto firms as well to build something on their own networks, on the networks that they're trying to build. And Sony has partnered up with ACH. Sony has just partnered up with ACH, which is massive. As partnerships in the crypto world continue to grow, the latest announcement comes from ACH and Samsung. In a recent announcement, ACH revealed a new partnership with Samsung. ACH, essentially a fiat crypto payment solution, has integrated with Samsung Pay to support fiat to crypto payments. With this partnership, ACH users can now connect their virtual cards to Samsung Pay, enabling seamless and secure transactions. Almighty Pay, a leading fiat crypto payment gateway, has rolled out an update in terms of its virtual card servers. The integration with Samsung Pay now allows virtual card holders to link their cards for a quick and secure payment method. Whether shopping online or in store, spending crypto has never been easier with ACH. The addition of Samsung Pay, a widely trusted and popular mobile payment platform, provides users with a more efficient and secure way to spend their cryptos. So ACH and Samsung have just officially announced their partnerships, which is crazy news. ACH is going to be giving out virtual bank cards, which is also crazy news. ACH's virtual bank cards work on Samsung Pay, which means people can start using their virtual ACH bank cards through Samsung Pay, which Samsung Pay is pretty much accepted on a worldwide basis, you could technically say. Massive news. If you are somebody that's holding ACH, It's incredible news for you. It's incredible news for me as well, because I'm also holding ACH. But yeah, if you're holding ACH, this is massive news for you. Now, what we're going to talk about next is State Street. State Street is a massive firm, and they've decided to fast track into tokenization, which is great news for the blockchain space. They haven't announced which projects they're looking into for their fast tracking on tokenizations and so on. But what they have decided is they want to go head first inside the crypto space for tokenizations. So before we go through that news, let's go start a comment section first. I understand time is needed again. Yep, facts. If you're enjoying the live, please share it. Let's go, Scots. Good evening, Miles. Mike, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? That's what I meant to say. VChain. Let's go, Carlos. If the live is entertaining, please share the live. Let's go, Scots. Forget about them. That is massive news. Yes, it is absolutely massive news regarding Samsung and ACH. Definitely is. Apologies about that one. Now, State Street. State Street pushes into tokenizations to modernize finance. State Street Global Advisors, a leading global financial service provider, is actively exploring using blockchain technology and tokenization to modernize its operations. According to a new report that came out from State Street, this strict move focuses primarily on tokenizing bonds and money market funds to enhance operations efficiencies and improve how assets are managed and traded. State Street intends to streamline process typically burdened by manual, essentially movements and time delays. By tokenizing bonds and money market funds, this can reduce operational costs, minimize risk associated with human error, and provide a greater transparency, and also provide a new revenue stream. State Street initiatives aligns with a broader industry trend, allowing financial institutions to adapt blockchain-based solutions to optimize their services. The tokenization of bonds can lead to a faster settlement in terms of times and improved liquidity. Likewise, tokenized money markets funds may provide investors with more flexible investment options. A significant aspect of State Street's exploration is a consideration of using tokenized money market funds as collateral for trading. Although the tokenization project is still in its early stages, the company's chief product officer, Donna, essentially affirmed it could be completed as soon as next year. This initiative would place State Street at the forefront of financial innovation. It will align with its goal to provide a cutting-edge solution for institutional investors. In August, State Street partnered with Taurus, a Swiss-based digital asset infrastructure provider, to advance its cryptocurrency custody and tokenization capabilities. The tokenization process involves converting physical or traditional financial assets into digital tokens that can be traded and managed on a blockchain. While the bank is essentially moving forward with tokenization, its digital asset custody services remain on hold. This is a pending favorable regulatory development in the United States. Especially the bank has been a prominent critic of the SEC Staff Accounting Bulletin SAB 121 Act. The SAB 121 imposes a stringent capital requirements on banks seeking to hold crypto assets. As such, State Street has called for a revision of the SAB 121 Act. It is arguing that the rule burdens banks and stifles innovations. So State Street is not happy with the SEC, but State Street is still working on their goal of creating some sort of a tokenization platform, and they're going to be releasing it next year, because even State Street knows Gary Gensler won't be here next year. The recall, essentially, that 4 months ago, State Street, essentially Global Advisors and Galaxy Digital plan to introduce a new line of crypto-based exchange-traded funds, ETFs. In their joint announcements, both firms noted that rising demand for digital asset exposures from institutions and retail investors alike. According to the new filings with the SEC, the two have proposed a SPDR Galaxy Digital Asset Ecosystem ETF. It intends to invest in diverse areas of publicly traded companies within the crypto sector. Additionally, the fund plans to incorporate investment futures and spot ETF products, broadening its scope and potential impact on the crypto markets. That's also massive news as well, because one, State Street, massive firm. Everybody follows their footsteps inside of Wall Street and even beyond Wall Street. Two, State Street entering into tokenizations, once again mentioning it and also saying we're trying to fast track operations so we can launch next year. 3, State Street essentially getting involved inside the blockchain space is going to add a lot of value in terms of money into the crypto space. And 4, them filing in essentially 2 ETF patterns with essentially Galaxy Digital. One ETF specifically designed for investing into crypto startup firms. The other one is just a normal ETF. There's also positive news as well. It just shows the adoption rate happening in Wall Street, and it's great so far. The adoption rate inside of Wall Street is massive. The issue is Gary Gensler is very slow in adoption. But the adoption, even though Gary Gensler is trying to stifle operations, even Wall Street wants to go, full front onto cryptocurrency space, especially when it comes to tokenization. It's because it's a new avenue stream for money. But yeah, State Street, massive news, honestly. Now, global cryptocurrency adoption is what we're going to talk about next. Everybody take a guess inside the comment section right now. So moving off State Street, which incredible, but to what do you think is the global adoption rate of cryptocurrencies right now? If you had to guess, what percentage of the world is inside the cryptocurrency space? Take a guess. Just throw a percentage out there. Do you think it's 1% of the world is in cryptocurrency space? Do you think it's 5%? Do you think it's 10%? Do you think it's 20%? Do you think it's 30%? What percentage do you think? Because a study report has came out today. And I'm going to be revealing what this report is. And what this report essentially is thinking the markets are going to be reaching. What percentage do you think of the entire world is inside the cryptocurrency space? Do you think it's 1%? Do you think it's 5%? Do you think it's 10%? Do you think it's 20%? This is massive news. Not yet. You said it first with ACH being a token to research. I did say that a long time ago. I said everybody look into ACH. I said it has multiple licenses to its names. I said it has multiple partnerships to its names, and it's definitely a project to look into. Now, let's see what everyone said. Let's see who got it correct. It's a quiz. Everybody get involved. I mean, even if you're watching this for the first time ever, get involved. It's a live show. Don't be shy. Just throw a number out there. Okay, so Joe says 4% of the entire crypto space, of the entire world is inside the crypto space. Toby says 7% of the world is inside the crypto space. Carlos says 15% of the world is inside the crypto space. Mav says only 5%. Orphan says 8%. Carl says 20% of the world is inside the crypto space. Shelly guesses 3%. Jason says 5%. Emmanuel says 10%. Golden Dragon says 1% if lucky. BullXLP says 2%. Camel says 10%. G says 6%. Mike says 2%. These are all low numbers except the high ones that came through. Someone said 20%. Carl, was it? Yep. And someone else said 15%, which was Carlos. The percentage of involving in crypto is 1.5% is what Callie says. Okay. Well, I'm going to be sharing you a report of what the 42%. Funky Brother says 1.5% and GP says 42%. Okay, I'm going to be sharing you a report of Patricia says 0.5%. I'm going to be sharing you a report of what percentage of the world is actually inside the crypto space and what percentage we're going to be expected to see by 2025. 35% is what Free and Forever says. 100% in this live. Let's go over it. Global cryptocurrency adoption soars 8%. Expected by 2025 report. The growing demand for digital currencies globally has amazed finance experts. Chain Analysis noted in a recent report that India has the highest crypto adoption worldwide. Its recent report, Maxi report essentially, noted that around 7.51% of the global population now uses digital currencies. Further, the number is expected to reach 8% by 2025. So whoever said 7 to 8% of the world is inside cryptocurrency space got the answer correct. So Toby, correct. Orphan, correct. That's pretty much it. Everybody else was near it, but not on it. But 7.51% of the world right now is inside the crypto space. 8% could be by 2024 or higher, reflecting essentially eroding interest, enthusiasms towards the traditional currencies. Maxiport terms institutional involvements inside the cryptocurrency is one of the primary reasons behind the surged adoption. The report quotes, as seen with the rise of personal computers, smartphones, social media platforms, and electric vehicles surpassing the 8% mark, often accelerates adoptions, driven by the network efforts, increased viability, and reduced costs. Market observers essentially argue that giants like BlackRock, Grayscale, Fidelity, Van Eck, WisdomTree, and Valkyrie have also shaped a brighter future for the crypto markets by offering their crypto products, which have lured in millions of new users. It is worth noting that Bitcoin is the most adapted essentially among all cryptocurrencies, followed by Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, and XRP, and so on. Institutions holding a significant Bitcoin. After referring to data available on CoinGecko, it was noted that MicroStrategy tops the list of publicly traded company holdings with the highest Bitcoins, as it has 252,220 Bitcoins, followed by Marathon Digital, which holds 22,842 Bitcoins, Galaxy Digital holding 15,449 Bitcoins, and Tesla holding 11,509 Bitcoins. All 29 publicly traded companies collectively hold 360,083 Bitcoins, valued at around $22 billion as of writing. MicroStrategy is claimed to be the trendsetter among a publicly traded companies when it comes to Bitcoin. Metaplanet, a leading technological giant in Japan, has also been buying Bitcoin for the past few quarters. As of October 7, 2024, the report that came out that the company has bought 108 Bitcoins for essentially a purchase of 1 billion Japanese yen. Following a essentially recent buying, now the company holds 639 Bitcoins. The purchase of Bitcoin on October 7th is the second purchase of the ongoing month of October 1st, 2024. Metaplanet has posted filings noting that it had bought 107 Bitcoins for an average purchase price of, in terms of Japanese yen. Now, Bitcoin analysis. When writing, Bitcoin was trading around 62,000, growing to 15.9% in the past 30 days. But since then, past 78 hours, prices have stuck a range around $63,000 to $64,000. And at the same time, it traded above 20, 50, and 100 in 200 days in terms of the EMA. Price analyst claims that the steadiness of Bitcoin indicates that some move in the upcoming weeks if the bulls continue to dominate. There are expectations that its price might soon cross the resistance of $65,000. In other cases, it appears gain control of a bull's price is expected to fall below the nearest support of $61,000. I'll be honest, yesterday I read out a report from JP Morgan, and JP Morgan stated that if we do go through some more turbulence in terms of a geopolitical tension with Iran and Israel, then the markets are going to be extremely volatile, and then we might not see Bitcoin essentially breaking some sort of a new height, is what JP Morgan said yesterday. Well, JP Morgan's analyst yesterday said in a report that if we go through a war scenario with Israel and Iran, then the crypto markets will become very volatile, which means the prices will drop, and Bitcoin won't be seeing, Bitcoin will be seeing the essentially breaking the resistance, or any other cryptocurrency for that matter. But I agree, it creates an excellent buying opportunity. But yeah, essentially 7.51% of the world is right now inside the crypto space. So what I would say is, if you're inside the crypto space, you're extremely lucky. If you are right now inside the crypto space, you're extremely lucky. And you should count your blessings for being inside the crypto space, because only 7.51% of the world is inside the crypto space, according to a new report that was released today. So what I would say is, if you're inside the crypto space, do the correct movements inside the crypto space. Don't get distracted by shiny objects inside the crypto space. By shiny objects, I mean meme coins. Don't get distracted by, random information. Don't get distracted by misinformation. Don't get panic sales in situations and so on. 7.51% of the world is inside the crypto space. You are one of the lucky people that's inside the crypto space. So use your time wisely inside the crypto space by doing the correct research, expanding your knowledge, choosing projects that are going to be changing the world as we know it forever, based on their contracts. Now, what we're going to talk about next is Senator Luminous. Senator Luminous has once again came out and urged Bitcoin Reserve to fix the Treasury critical value gap. The reason why she's came out and said this today is because yesterday a Supreme Court judge ordered essentially that the United States government can sell their Bitcoins. So yesterday I revealed on this live show very major critical news that the United States government has now just received their green lights to sell their Bitcoins. A Supreme Court order has given a green light to the United States government to sell their Bitcoins that they're holding from Silk Road. So today, Senator Luminous comes out and says, well, hang on a minute. Let's just, think about this wisely. Why not use the Bitcoin for reserves instead? Which I agree 100%. Now, Senator Luminous urges Bitcoin Reserve to fix Treasury critical value gap. The US Senator, simply Luminous, voiced her support once more for integrating Bitcoin into the nation's financial strategy, this time by calling the US Treasury to consider building a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Luminous has been a long-time Bitcoin advocate. She believes Bitcoin Reserve is decentralized and essentially deflationary, making it optimal for retaining value over the longer terms. She felt that the US Treasury could greatly benefit from holding Bitcoin as a part of its reserves, particularly with the growing concerns about inflation and the future of the US dollar. The US has maintained gold as a store of value. Luminous said Bitcoin is a new innovative, essentially component that can diversify and balance the Treasury reserves. She added that Bitcoin's scarcity and decentralized nature can contribute to a hedge against inflationary, essentially, instabilities. Luminous went on to warn that the US is essentially at risk of falling behind other nations which are already testing ways to incorporate cryptocurrencies into their financial systems. She said that some of them, like El Salvador, which made Bitcoin legal tender, have already begun to realize the potential of digital assets. She suggests that the US can strengthen its financial security while maintaining its global leadership in terms of evolving itself inside the digital economy. More traditional lawmakers like Luminous propose highlights that the growing conversation around Bitcoin's role in the future of national economies. Look, I agree, 100%. The United States government should not be selling their Bitcoins, in my personal humble opinion. They should not be selling their Bitcoins, but they have been green-lighted by a Supreme Court order yesterday that they can sell their Bitcoins. But I don't think they should do. That Bitcoin can come very valuable to the United States government, but the United States government is about 10,000 steps ahead of everybody else. So I think they know exactly what they're going to do with their Bitcoins. But while essentially Senator Luminous coming out and today saying that the United States government should not sell their Bitcoins, they should hold their Bitcoins, we should create some sort of a reserve right now, Goldman Sachs also came out today as well. And they gave their perspective on Bitcoin. And Goldman Sachs' perspective was slightly different from Senator Luminous. And it wasn't positive either. But before we go through that news, let's go inside the comment section first. Let's see what's happening inside the comment section first. Hi, Miles of CMF. Stormy, good to see you. How you doing, Stormy? How you been? My wife just told me her bank in Canada just got told she is losing all of her front personal next March. I mean, tell us. Wow, freedom forever. Thank you for sharing that. Funky Brother says it would have been much higher if it wasn't for Gary Weasel Gensler. The Weasel has scared a lot of people. I agree. Funky Brother says also Gary will sue all of us for holding securities soon. Maddie, good to see you as well. Evening, how you been? How's things? And Funky Brother also says when the CBDC comes out, then 100% of the people will be in it. As 100%, I agree. Yes, when CBDCs come out, even if you hold cryptocurrencies, you're still going to receive a CBDC wallet. That's guaranteed. Yep, facts. Thought it was more with institutions being involved. Thought it was more with institutions being involved. Well, that's on what's on paper. Regarding 7.51% is what's on paper. What's off paper is the whole different story. 8% of the population is encrypted. 98% of institutions believe tokenization will change the world. Please, what company headlined the news line where it's 7.51% of the world are into crypto? I'll put the article inside a Telegram group of this live show, no problem. If you hold, the report was a maxi report. If they hold gold, makes sense holding Bitcoin. Why not? I don't think they're that stupid, Miles. If anything, it's out of spite if they sell it. Yeah, quoting Trump. Yeah, they might do it out of spite, just because they don't like Trump, which is very odd. He's the only man that's going to change the world. So, as Senator Luminous comes out and says America should not be selling their Bitcoins because now they can, they're being greenlighted by a judge. Goldman Sachs has came out with their own opinion, same time as Senator Luminous. And they said Goldman Sachs compares Bitcoin and gold. And Goldman Sachs said, not my perspective, just want to point this out, this is Goldman Sachs' perspective. They said that Bitcoin has failed. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, what do you mean Bitcoin has failed, Goldman Sachs? Bitcoin's done very brilliant for itself. Well, as the competition, this is what they mean. As the competition between Bitcoin and gold continues, a new report comparing Bitcoin and gold has arrived from Goldman Sachs. According to CoinDesk, Goldman Sachs analysts compared Bitcoin and gold in terms of return and volatility. According to Goldman Sachs analysts, gold performed better on risk-adjusted basis compared to Bitcoin. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, how does that make sense? Bitcoin has climbed past gold. Surely Bitcoin will be the better choice. What Goldman Sachs analysts and their new report is trying to say that came out today is that certain periods in time, Bitcoin doesn't do the job it's supposed to do, and it goes the other way. So Bitcoin has gained over 40% this year, outpacing major stocks, indices, gold, and even oil, which is facts. Bitcoin has done better than all of them in terms of price point, facts, which has recently surged amid geopolitical tensions. However, it's lagged behind gold in risk-based returns, is what they're trying to say. Accordingly, despite Bitcoin's 40% increase on annual basis, gold left Bitcoin behind in risk-adjusted returns. What they're referring to is geopolitical tensions, when a sudden war is about to break out. Gold goes up, Bitcoin goes down. So what they're saying is, yes, Bitcoin did better than oil this year. Bitcoin did better than gold this year. Bitcoin did better than stocks this year. But when it comes to geopolitical tensions, gold does better than Bitcoin. Even though Bitcoin is supposed to be chosen as the preferred asset of going against everything in this world. But gold is better, is what they're trying to say. According to the analyst from Goldman Sachs' new report, the higher the risk-adjusted return of gold compared to Bitcoin explains why gold is seen as a more safe haven. Because they're saying if people, in terms of, if people are scared, if people are panicking, if people are, running away from geopolitical tensions, nobody, is what Goldman Sachs is trying to say, is running towards Bitcoin. Everybody is still running towards gold, is what they're trying to say. So they're saying, yes, we fully understand. Bitcoin did better than any other asset this year. It did better than stocks. It did better than gold. It did better than oil. But they said when it counts for Bitcoin to do better, it doesn't. When geopolitical tensions happen, when panic and fear happen and so on, nobody runs towards Bitcoin. And they're saying everybody still, till this day, runs towards gold. When Iran's last missile strike towards Israel, gold went up, Bitcoin dropped. So they're trying to say, even though people are seeing Bitcoin as a digital gold, it doesn't do what a digital gold is supposed to do. Goldman Sachs analysts added that Bitcoin's stellar performance is not enough to compensate for its volatility, because Goldman Sachs, believe it or not, are not against Bitcoin. Goldman Sachs actually wants to see Bitcoin become a safe haven. But Goldman Sachs is saying it's too soon to put the title of safe haven on top of Bitcoin, because it doesn't act how a safe haven should act. It acts as a brilliant asset in terms of outpacing all of its rivals. But when it counts, it doesn't. And gold still essentially does what gold does, safe haven. Bitcoin's risk-adjusted return remains below 2%, while gold's is around 3%. This highlights gold's attractiveness as a safe haven. Moreover, this relatively low-risk adjustment performance confirms skeptics' long-held view that Bitcoin is too volatile to be a safe haven like gold. Goldman Sachs also raised this gold ounce forecast to $2,900 by 2025. So this, report that's came out from Goldman Sachs, it's not supposed to be a negative report on Bitcoin. If anybody's seeing it as a negative report, it's not supposed to be a negative report on Bitcoin. They actually praised Bitcoin in some areas in reports. They said Bitcoin did better than gold this year. Bitcoin did better than oil this year. Bitcoin did better than stocks this year. It's a great asset to look into if you want to diversify your portfolios. But what Goldman Sachs is trying to say is you can't put the title of safe haven on an asset when the time comes around. It's supposed to act as a safe haven, and it can't. Which, look, that's their opinion, but I also agree 100%. I agree with every part of that report. Yes, Bitcoin did better than oil. I agree. Bitcoin did better than, essentially gold. I agree. Bitcoin did better than stocks. I agree. These are all facts. But putting it in the category of safe haven, and then when geopolitical tensions rise, it doesn't act as a safe haven, then how can it be a safe haven? At that point, it's just common sense. And the most recent example is the missiles. Iran sends missiles, gold goes up. Bitcoin goes down. So how can we put it in a category of safe haven when it doesn't act as a safe haven? Is what they're trying to say, which I agree. Who agrees with Goldman Sachs? Just out of curiosity, who agrees with Goldman Sachs that we can't put a asset in the category of safe haven if it doesn't act as a safe haven? Who agrees with Goldman Sachs and who disagrees with Goldman Sachs? And if you do have a separate opinion, go for it. If you have a separate opinion, go for it. If you're watching this for the first time ever as well, get involved inside the comment section. Do you agree with Goldman Sachs' opinion that we can't label something a safe haven when it doesn't act as a safe haven? Or do you disagree with Goldman Sachs? If you do, give your opinion why. Who agrees? Who disagrees? And honestly, this is a live show, so if you're watching this for the first time ever, get involved inside the comment section as well. Don't be shy if you're new to crypto as well. So let's see what's going on inside the comment section while everyone's answering that question. Let me go through it. I don't think that, yeah, I read that one. Goldman Sachs is just saying that because they have the world gold in their name. Because they have the world gold in their name. I agree with Goldman Sachs, is what Kali says. Free Feather says, Miles, do you remember me starting that about 2 or 3 weeks ago? And you stated I had a point with gold until we have regulations. Yep. Joe says, yep, I agree with Goldman Sachs. Ripple says, I agree. Hi all. How you doing, Ripple? Susie says, consider variable change. Lol. Fair enough. Happy Pisces says, well, that's purely logical and it's not really something. Why do you have to? Why do they have to talk? Why do Goldman Sachs have to talk about it? Healthy, wealthy, you says MOI. Carl says, I agree with Goldman Sachs. Good analysis. Camel says, I agree. My opinion is because we're going to Bitcoin while they get there, but it isn't there just yet. Fair enough. Bitcoin is getting there. It's not just yet. Ian says, agree with that. Freedom Feather says, no, like I've said, gold is number one on regulations. So not no, as in you agree with Goldman Sachs. JP says, absolutely. JP agrees with Goldman Sachs as well. Happy Pisces says, sorry, I meant why did they talk about it so much when that's the pattern jokingly? I think I can see them in their boardroom saying, hey, Bitcoin is getting way ahead of gold. Let's cue the political unrest saxophone. It's just getting them so prepared to really promote and push Bitcoin as a true investment 100% behind. Look, I agree. Goldman Sachs might be releasing this report as a manipulation, you could say. Goldman Sachs is releasing this report to manipulate the asset and so on by just stating facts, but facts that some people overlook sometimes as well. But I agree with Happy Pisces as well. Agree with them, even if BTC is too young, the market compared to gold. Yeah, I agree, is what G says. Bull says, I agree and disagree. Bitcoin is better for long term as they can't have VRA forever, which is true as well. Jason says, I agree. Bitcoin is still too volatile, is what Jason says. Okay, so everybody agrees, but they have an opinion on the matter, which all the opinions so far seem valid in my opinion. So you agree, but you also say, in the long term, that will be a better asset. Bitcoin will be a better asset. More Money says, Math Token, my first choice for this bull run. That's an interesting one. Math Token is a good project, but not a first choice. Is an interesting one though. How you doing, More Money? Health Wealthy You says moi is yes in French. Lol. Yes, I agree. Okay, now I get it. I'm not French, but now I get it from now on. If you say moi from now on, I know what you mean. Wait a minute. Didn't they just discover $9 trillion worth of gold in Uganda? Yes, they did. But hurry up, China is far behind from us holding gold long. That's true as well. Gold will always be found. A Bitcoin will always be scarce to hold. I mean, these are fair points what Happy Pies is making. JP says you can't take 10 bars of gold through the airport long, which is also a fair point as well. Look, these are valid points, is what I would say. Someone decided to put a random comment. Morons will always comment. Now, what we're going to talk about next is Ripple. Ripple is sometimes a sore subject for some people, but for me, it's a brilliant company with a brilliant asset. And here's what I would say. The news that just came out. One thing that a lot of people, who are inside of the XRP space, who are in the Ripple space, who are, heard of the Ripple space, is that they're wondering to themselves, will XRP still be used? Some people in the crypto space still, wonder to themselves, will XRP ever be used? Well, Ripple's CTO, David Schwartz, came out and said this. One of the most anticipated launches in the crypto space is nearing, as the San Francisco-based cross-border payment providers Ripple RLUSD enters what appears to be the final stages of its research and development within essentially the mints and burns of RLUSD, accelerating the value in the millions. The rapid change in the ecosystem, which has long been centered around XRP and XRP Ledger, has naturally caused some anxiety and concerns among community members, with some asking what will happen to XRP's role in Ripple's cross-border business. Till this day, some people are still worried that Ripple is trying to drop XRP and focus on RLUSD, and that XRP has no purpose. Well, in the latest episode of this debate, the Chief Technical Officer of Ripple, David Schwartz, was asked to end speculation on the matter and provide concrete answers once and for all, whether RLUSD will be a positive net for XRP, yes or no. So it's pretty much a question that a lot of people want an answer to. I already know the answer, not because I read it before, but because I knew it before as well. But a lot of people want to know, will RLUSD be replacing XRP? Is there even a use case for XRP? Is RLUSD positive for XRP? So here's the answer from David Schwartz, Ripple's CTO. In response to this, well, that was something. That was something I've never experienced before in my life. The thing that holds the camera, the ring light and everything that holds the camera, it just slipped out of the holder. You know the holder, you put the camera and the ring light and everything, just slipped. It's the first time it's ever happened. At a very crucial point of this live. Very weird how it slipped out. Now, here is the answer. I don't know why it had to happen now. In response to these concerns, David Schwartz emphasized in response to, I'm just reading the comments on the side. So let's bring it back. In response to these concerns, David Schwartz emphasized that XRP is essential for transaction fees on the XRP ledger, and stressed that every transaction must involve XRP. This unique asset has no counterparty or jurisdiction, making it immune to freezes or clawbacks. It also offers structural advantages through features such as auto-bridging. So if you're wondering to yourself, David Schwartz, if you're wondering to yourself, is XRP still going to be used? If RLUSD comes out, is there even a purpose for XRP? Yes, big purpose. Because according to David Schwartz, no matter what happens, XRP is the vital asset. XRP will always be used as a gas token. However, he also acknowledged the potential challenges XRP could face if stablecoins outperform its fulfilling its intended roles. If RLUSD or any other stablecoin can perform tasks better than XRP, it could lead to a decline in XRP's importance regardless of RLUSD's results. Only XRP can be used to pay transaction fees on the XRP ledger. Just to repeat that one more time. Only XRP can be used to pay transaction fees on the XRP ledger. Everyone who transacts must have XRP to pay those fees on the XRP ledger. XRP is the only asset every account can hold, and there is no counterparty or jurisdiction that cannot freeze or claw back XRP. XRP has structural advantages on the XRP ledger. The CTO also expressed the opinions that essentially raising fees to increase XRP's scarcity is not a priority. He believes that the XRP ledger should primarily serve its users rather than those who hold XRP for passive gains. However, he also noted that the introduction of smart contracts could lead to increased transaction fees. So, David Schwartz, if you're still wondering to yourself, Ripple stablecoin is coming out. Is there even a point of XRP? Is XRP even going to be used? The stablecoin is coming out, RLUSD is coming out. Well, according to the CTO of Ripple, David Schwartz, XRP is the only asset that can be used as gas token on the XRP ledger. Every transaction you're going to be transacting is going to be involving essentially XRP as gas token on the XRP ledger. XRP plays a crucial role, in his opinion, on the XRP ledger. And it's also immune to certain aspects when it comes to clawback and some other aspects on the XRP ledger. So yeah, if you're still wondering to yourself, Ripple stablecoin is coming out very soon. Is XRP still going to play a major role, or does it even have a role anymore? Yes, it has a very big role. Now, what we're going to talk about next is Paolo. Everybody remember Paolo, the essentially first country you could say that was using the CBDC platform for Ripple? Well, Paolo has just introduced a blockchain savings bond with Sormo to see. The government of Paolo has launched Paolo Invest, a blockchain-based savings bond prototype system. Since the prototype is complete, a public demonstration system has been initiated as well. Japan's Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry and the Sormotis blockchain are supporting the project, which is intended to provide funds for the country's infrastructure projects. Bond issuance with a mission. The finance ministry, has to finalize bond issuance criteria and receive government approvals for them. The approximately 18,000 Paolo citizens will be able to buy the bonds from the ministry using the app on their telephones. President of Paolo said that the launch ceremony, the Savings Bond Initiative enables us to fund key projects, such as housing, small, medium-sized business developments, roads, and other essential services in Paolo. With capital sourced domestically, these projects are not just critical to infrastructure, but they are also essentially to generate a slip-over effect. When the bond project was announced back in July, the organizers hoped for a full launch in 2025. Paolo, which is consistent of its 340 islands in the South Pacific, uses the United States dollar as its currency and had no previous bond platform. The Paolo bond will operate on the public permission Hyperledger IRO2 blockchain on Sora version 3 chain platform. So it has developed essentially the IRO and contributed to the Linux Foundation Hyperledger project. So Bank of International Settlements, Ripple. It still provides technical and business support for blockchain. Sormotis also hands in Cambodia's essentially currency as well, Laos's DLAC central bank digital currency CBDC proof of concept, and Solomon Islands essentially CBDC proof of concept as well. The DLAC was essentially modeled with the Bangkok. Paolo has a joint project with Ripple to launch the US dollar peg stablecoin since 2021. After the first phase of the project was declared a success, at the end of 2022, it progressed to the second phase. Later this year, Paolo and Cryptic Labs developed also the root name system, the basis for the country's digital residency program. Early in 2022, the RNS provides blockchain-based IDs, know your customer verifications, and NFTs. The program launched on the BNB chain in June 2022 as well. In Paolo's project, a few crypto projects are involved, but the one I'm caring about is the one that's doing their currency. Because if you're inside the cryptocurrency space, some are inside the cryptocurrency space just for making money, some inside the cryptocurrency for innovation. I'm in it for both, and Ripple's bringing in the money. Paolo, in terms of their currency, it's Ripple. In terms of their essentially identity, it's BNB chain. In terms of essentially their bonds issuance, is Sormotis coming out of Japan, and the Hyperledger coming out of Bank of International Settlements, which leads back to essentially Ripple. But what I want to say is, Paolo is like a glimpse of what could be offered to you later on in your own jurisdictions. Paolo seems to me for a while now, when it was first announced, Ripple and Paolo, CBDC platform, to me it seemed like a test ground. It seemed like a test ground before it gets implemented on a larger scale. A CBDC country. Now, China is obviously a CBDC country up to a certain extent, but China is very closed door, which means a lot of governments don't really know what's happening in China unless China releases on their own news channels. But Paolo is like a test ground for the rest of the world, where they can see officially how a CBDC operates. And now they're introducing bonds, CBDC bonds for citizens. So these are like step-by-step, essentially, announcements and things that can happen in your own countries. Something that could be introduced in Australia, the United Kingdom, America, Canada, Singapore, whatever. It's giving you a glimpse of what could be possibly happening in your jurisdictions with Paolo. It's like a test ground for the rest of the world to see what happens. And now they've released their essentially bonds, CBDC bonds. Now, what we're also going to talk about is something quite interesting, something that I said a while ago before even the SEC appealed the Ripple case, which is a lot of lawyers right now are coming out and saying that they don't think the SEC's appeal is going to be accepted. So a lot of lawyers are coming out right now and saying that they don't think the SEC's appeal is going to be accepted. The reasoning why these lawyers think that the SEC appeals won't get accepted with Ripple is because they don't think the SEC has any sort of substantial evidence to go on to, an appeal situation with Ripple. They think that whatever the SEC had on Ripple, they already used it in their long year battles inside the courtrooms. And they don't believe the SEC has any more evidence left in their chambers to do an appeal in that sense. And they think the appeal will get rejected. It almost sounds very similar to what I said before the appeal even happened, where I said for a while before the appeal even happened that if the SEC even appeals, they won't have any foundation or any grounds for the appeal to happen, to go through, is what I said. And it's like word for word of what I said, repeated by many lawyers. We're going to go through that, but we're going to go through the comment section first, see what's happening over there. By the way, if you have any questions, go for it inside the comment section. This is a live show, which means if you have any questions, don't be shy. Go for it inside the comment section. I thought someone hit you. I'm at home. No one's going to hit me. Don't fall in the pool, Miles. It's actually a green screen. It's not, what's behind me, actually. I'm very honest. It seems so real. The ring light was just telling you that you're not the chief technology officer, trying to add more drama to XRP. Looks like you fall down. Looks like I fell down. I thought you fell off the chair announcing the news. Lol. I thought you fell off the seat. Lol. You entertaining us again, Miles? Entertaining us again, Miles. I thought you fell off the chair, lol. If you were enjoying the live, find the thing and please share the live. Let's go, CMF Scott. Let's go. I mean, I know it's big news, but enough to fall off the chair. What kind of sign was that? What kind of sign was that? I have no idea, I'll be honest. As someone speaking to you, G, good to see you. How you doing? I thought you fell off the chair. Nope, I'm good. XRP, just the iPhone fell off the ring light holder. XRP is the gel that will run the wheels of the world. I agree. Every transaction will burn XRP. I agree. Facts. Where was this, Miles? Was it on X? No, it was an interview that he did. Spooky. He didn't produce. Miles, I don't think they really made that super clear. Earlier on, the XRP will be used for gas token fees. Correct that it was already used for fees on your Telegram. Miles, is Ripple still going to hold the exhibition where big names will talk? When was the date again? Yes, Miami. It's in Miami, so I think it's this month as well. I mean, I don't think they made this super clear just for the gas fees. Just for the gas fees in the beginning, where they talk about cross-border transactions replacing nostril-to-nostril process. True. It's one big show looking for more time. You did say that, Miles, I remember. Yep. You did. You said that. Appeal doesn't mean it will get green light to proceed. However, I am surprised Brad immediately threw out a mid-2026 until all settled again, pushing people out so not to make passive income, as David Short said. Can you share the doc or the interview, please, in the Community X pages? Yes, no problem. I'll share it. Now, no problem, share it. Why the SEC appeal might not hold up in court. The SEC is appealing in the recent court rulings in the Ripple case. Even though it lacks strong evidence to support its claims, the agency is struggling to essentially prove that XRP buyers expected profits based on Ripple's efforts. Judge Torres ruled that Ripple's actions include the sale of XRP held in escrow, did not influence price movements enough to establish investor expectations of profits. The SEC essentially claiming that people were expecting profits happening with the XRP sale, well, essentially with XRP, is false. The SEC's case now depends on convincing the appeals court that these programmatic buyers wanted returns based on Ripple's operations. The SEC wants to argue this point, even though the court rejected their own expert testimony on this matter. The expert opinion, which was key to the SEC essentially argument, was dismissed due to the lack of reliable methodology. Defendants successfully argued that the experts' assumptions about the reasonable XRP purchaser believed were speculative and based on facts. This means that the SEC doesn't have a solid expert testimony to support its claims. A while ago, the SEC did try to essentially get the judge to agree with the SEC against Ripple, where the SEC claimed people were buying XRP because they thought they were going to get substantial amounts of returns, which Ripple essentially replied to as absurd. And the SEC said, well, we have proof that people were expecting returns from their XRP, and you told them massive returns are coming. And when the SEC revealed their experts' essentially testimonies, the judge basically said, no, we don't believe your expert testimonies, and declined it. So a while ago, the SEC did try this method, didn't really work. Also hurting the SEC's appeal is the evidence from real XRP investors. Court filings showing that these investors did not rely on Ripple's efforts when purchasing XRP. Many didn't know about Ripple's initiatives or their impact on XRP. Even so, the SEC is still trying to argue that a hypothetical reasonable investor could have expected profits from Ripple's actions based on old blog posts or marketing materials. Plus, Ripple's efforts to develop products like on-demand liquidity softwares, which uses XRP for cross-border transactions, didn't really affect XRP's price. This was stated by actual members of the XRP community. For these investors, Ripple's announcements did not affect their decision to invest. The SEC is trying to convince the Second Circuit Court, but its case seems to be missing crucial elements. Their expert testimonies have been rejected in the past, and there isn't much evidence from real investors to support their claims. The SEC must now rely on legal fiction and La La Land stories, hoping to prove that these fictional individuals expected profits from Ripple's efforts, despite not having much concrete proof. So Gary Gensler is going to be pulling a rabbit out of a hat. Honestly, if you were expecting for essentially, the SEC versus Ripple case and the appeal that's going on, the only way, genuinely, if this is a genuine case, so the two scenarios of Ripple, one, this is a genuine case. Scenario number two, this is a big show. Let's go with scenario number one. This is a genuine case for now. If this is a genuine case, the only possible way that the SEC's appeal could be approved is if the SEC, if Gary Gensler pulls out a rabbit out of a hat, which means it's not possible. The SEC has no foundation for this appeal. They have no foundation, no structure, no evidence. They're going on a wing, hoping the judge sees it their way with zero evidence. It's like debit box case right now. The SEC used whatever they had against Ripple in these long year battles, and it didn't work. A lot of people genuinely say Ripple lost against the SEC. There are people inside the crypto space that will say Ripple lost against the SEC. What I would say is how you would define if it's a loss. I can define as a win. I can define in a way like, for example, the SEC's main goal was to make XRP a security, which they failed at. So for me, that's a win for Ripple. SEC tried to make XRP a security, they failed. So that's a win for Ripple. The SEC tried to essentially say that Brad and Chris Larson were, meddling with things, and they dropped that case. For me, that's a win for Ripple, not the SEC. The SEC tried to squeeze $2 billion out of Ripple because they were selling under the table, apparently. The SEC never got their $2 billion, and the judge said $125 million. For me, that's a win still. But the main thing the SEC really wanted was to put XRP in a securities category, which they failed at. From every aspect, if you look at it from this court, this long year battles with Ripple versus SEC, Ripple has been winning one by one. So I don't know why some people still till this day inside the crypto space say Ripple lost against the SEC. They haven't. The main purpose of this entire case was to declare XRP a security, which they couldn't do. It was the one thing Gary Gensler really wanted and never got. So for me, that's a loss for the SEC and a win for Ripple. And he wanted $2 billion from La La Land. And instead, he got $125 million. Some people will say Ripple paying $125 million is a loss. Not really when you look at $2 billion. But look, the SEC has to have strong grounds. To me, it seems like a witch hunt. Right now, it seems like a witch hunt. The SEC is doing what they did with the debit box case. They're going to lie through their teeth and hope it doesn't backfire, which it will. Because if they had substantial evidence, if they had some substantial grounds, if they had some important, misinformation on Ripple or Brad or something, they would have revealed a long time ago to wrap up that case and win. Big win for the SEC. But they never could because they didn't have any evidence, because they never had any substantial evidence, because they never had any sort of foundational structure to go up against them, only sort of merit to go up against them. Hence why the case ended the way it did, with Ripple walking away happy, SEC walking away angry. If you want to know who won that case, look at who's appealing the case. If the SEC won that case, why are they appealing it? For everybody inside the crypto space that was saying for a while, Ripple lost against the SEC, SEC won. Well, winners don't go around appealing a case. Losers do. Just a heads up. If you're new to law if you're new to law in general, winners don't go around appealing cases. Winners walk away happy from the court scene because they won the case. Winners don't appeal cases. Losers do. So for anybody out there that's still claiming, well, Ripple lost against the SEC a long time ago, sorry to say that, but winners don't appeal cases. Losers do, because they're not happy with the end result. And to add on top of that, another XRP ETF has been appealed. So basically, SEC appealing the Ripple case is a witch hunt. They're doing another debit box scenario, hoping the judge sees it their way. I'll be honest, if the judge didn't see it their way from the beginning of the Ripple case until now, they ain't going to see it their way right now either. And one more ETF has been approved for XRP inside the United States, which shows even the institutions couldn't care less what Gary Gensler has to say. Even the institutions couldn't care less what Gary Gensler has to say about Ripple anymore. Canary Capital files the second XRP ETF inside the United States. It just shows you, even the institutions don't care about the Ripple case anymore because they know potential when they see it. Crypto investment firm Canary Capital has made a bold move by filing for a spot XRP ETF product inside the United States. The firm named the product the Canary XRP ETF in the form of an S1 registration statement lodged to the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, growing positive sentiments about XRP ETF. When Bitwise made their first move for the XRP ETF in the United States, that Canary Capital made similar filings at this time is a sign of growing confidence in what the future holds for XRP. The firm said in its registration statement that it is seeing signs of a progressive regulatory environment coupled with growing demand from investors for sophisticated access to cryptocurrencies beyond Ethereum and Bitcoin. beyond Ethereum and Bitcoin. Despite the potential positivity of Canarie's capital, the question of progressive regulatory environments remains questionable. This is because the US SEC has, filed essentially a notice of appeal to contest the July 2023 Ripple lawsuit ruling that XRP. This appeal will further allegate essentially the commission's lawsuits against Ripple Labs, with XRP coming off as a collateral damage. With the security status of a coin still in doubt, it remains unclear how the regulator will receive the two XRP ETF filings. Notably, the ETF product will track the price of underlying cryptocurrency and is subject to the US SEC's approval. Canary Capital is a brainchild of Stephen McCork, the founder of Valkyrie Funds. With enough experience inside the crypto and financial market space, it is likely that Canary's capital move might end up counting for something special. According to the growing speculations, there is a likelihood that the SEC's appeal in the Ripple lawsuit will impact the chances of an XRP ETF. With Bitcoin and Ethereum gaining regulatory approvals of spot ETF products, investment firms have maintained positivity. And essentially, other cryptocurrencies deserve related treatments. However, the US SEC has continued to crack down on crypto firms operating in the industry, naming some tokens alongside its securities. The lack of clarity of the status of most altcoins might deter the ETF approvals for other top altcoins like Solana and Dogecoin, though firms like Crypto.com is essentially countersuing the SEC, which I revealed earlier on this live show, that Gary Gensler is not doing his job. So they're saying, essentially, other firms, in terms of other firms going for Solana ETFs might not be happening, but firms going towards XRP ETFs is going to be on the rise. So according to Valkyrie's founder, massive firm, a massive institution, Valkyrie founder, according to him, more XRP ETFs are going to be on the way, and that institutions and institutional investors want something beyond Bitcoin and Ethereum. They said sophisticated investors want something beyond Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs. And what they're eyeing towards is XRP. Hence why we have a Bitwise XRP ETF, which happened before the appeal, which is still filed in, not essentially taken out. And now, during the appeal, we have another XRP ETF from Canary, which is the founder of Valkyrie. According to him, expect more XRP ETFs coming because institutional investors want more sophisticated assets beyond Bitcoin Ethereum, and XRP is what they're eyeing right now. And it looks like they don't care that there's an appeal going on because they're filing otherwise. They're filing either way. And to add on top of that, one important news to also add on top of that as well, a lot of important news we covered on tonight's live show, is this. Ripple bags Best Cross-Border Payments Platform Award. Ripple, the blockchain firm known for its global payment solutions, has been awarded the Platinum Prize for Best Cross-Border Payments. Moreover, this feature strengthens the position of the firm and its native token XRP in the international payment space. Ripple achieves a major feat in global payment space. The latest recognition is a part of the Future Digital Awards for fintechs and payments in 2024. It highlights the firm's growing influence in international finance. The company shared its excitement on X, announcing, "We're pleased to announce that Ripple has been named a platinum winner in Best Cross-Border Payments Platform in terms of research by Futures Digital Awards for Fintechs and Payments 2024 today." Also, an authority in digital markets research also took to X to recognize the XRP firm's achievements. They stated the Platinum Prize for Best Cross-Border Payments Platform goes to Ripple for Ripple Payments. This award underscores the company's ability to provide efficient, secure, and cost-effective solutions for cross-border transactions. Furthermore, it could prove to be an advantage for XRP2, as it plays an important role in the blockchain firm's cross-border payments ventures. Growing adoption of the payment system could also boost XRP demand, thereby driving up its price slowly. Today's award follows a significant milestone for Ripple as it enters into the Latin American markets as well for new partnerships in Brazil. So, as usual, Ripple does win the CBDC awards, and in this case, the cross-border payments awards as well. It's no surprise there. When it comes to money going digital, in terms of the blockchain space, Ripple has no competitors. Even though some might see its competitors inside a cross-border payment space as Ethereum, Solana, ACH, XRP, XLM, XDC, HBAR, and so on, there's no competitors. Ripple is the competition. Even though those other assets are also amazing assets, no doubt about it. HBAR, excellent. XDC, excellent. XLM, excellent. Solana, good in its aspects. Ethereum, good with what it offers. And so on. They're all good. But Ripple's better. In that category, for cross-border payments and CBDCs, it takes the crown any day. Hence why it received an award. And the rest didn't for cross-border payments. In that category, there's no comparison. Let's go inside the comment section, see what's happening. You did say that, Miles. I remember you said that. Yeah. The SEC will be brought to task a lot quicker than people think, Miles. Senators are all waking up. Facts. Everything was a win for Ripple. Trust me, they will not be moving forward with this stuff if they did not think they were going to win. Facts. You said something last night about people using common sense. Facts. Let's go, Stormy. The dates being thrown around appear to support pushing out those who are not institutional investors. I agree. Miles, 100% facts. Let's go, Ian. Regarding winners don't appeal, losers do. The weasel is kicking the can as he walks out the door. If you are enjoying the live, please share the live and entertainment. Let's go. Let's go, Scott. Are the lawyers that are representing the SEC dumb too? Do they not know that they cannot win an appeal? Well, the lawyers that are essentially representing the SEC are very dumb. They're the same lawyers that essentially try to go against debit books. Well, not the same exact lawyers, but SEC lawyers who lied against debit books and said to basically to a judge that debit books is moving people's assets around over the country, stealing from people, doing under the table deals. And the judge said, no, let's go and freeze debit boxes' accounts. After the judge, froze the accounts of debit books, said to the SEC, well, what's your evidence on the matter? And the lawyer said, evidence? What's that? Which prompted the judge to fine the SEC, and a countersuing happened from debit books to the SEC. The two lawyers from the SEC lost their jobs, and the department of the SEC that was handling that case had to close down. And the files were sent to another SEC department. So regarding, are the SEC lawyers dumb to appeal this case? Well, they're very dumb. It's been proven before. Share the live. It has been entertaining too. Let's go, Scott. I just think it's disgraceful that they are wasting taxpayers' funds. I would be furious if I was a US citizen. I'm not a US citizen. I'm furious already. I'm in the UK. I'm a British citizen. The SEC lawyers are making mint. They are charging an idiot for representative the bad case. I still have Gary Gensler's photo on a dartboard. Good night, guys. Unfortunately, I have to go. It's time to on my CMF TV. Well done, Miles, for your research on Facts News. It's a huge work you do every day, my friend. Massive thanks, bro. Let's go, Carl. See you tomorrow sometimes usual. Good night, Miles. CMF family. Hopefully, I will see you guys tomorrow all night. Funky brother. See you tomorrow sometimes usual. Math token, my first choice was born on low cap. No, I think Swift has a better chance. Low. Yeah, definitely low. But look, I also put out a tweet today as well, which was just to prove on my matter, prove on my fact even more regarding there are no competition when it comes to XRP. I put out a tweet today stating that saying that regarding the matter of you should be focused right now. I said while some retailers are chasing meme coins, the world moves towards CBDCs. And according to the Bank of International Settlements, 98% of centralized banks are in CBDCs. Guess which crypto already has an active platform and multiple CBDC awards, and ironically received another award today for cross-border payments? XRP. Nobody can stop what's coming. Don't get distracted by shiny objects and keep yourselves focused on what really counts. Money going digital. So we have also reached the endings of tonight's live show. Now, just to give you a breakdown of what we went through on tonight's live show, we talked about on tonight's live show, we went for the news topics of Ripple, essentially in terms of cross-border payments, winning an award. We talked about the Canary Capitals filing in an XRP ETF inside the United States. We talked about why the SEC Ripple essentially, why the SEC Ripple appeal might not hold up in court from a perspective coming from many lawyers. We also went for the news topic of Paolo introducing blockchain savings bonds. We also went for the news topic on tonight's live show regarding Ripple's CTO, essentially dispelling the XRP community on doubts that XRP has no future. XRP has a very bright future. We also talked about Goldman Sachs' new report on Bitcoin versus gold. We went through the news topic of Senator Luminous essentially urging America in terms of Bitcoin reserves due to America receiving a green light to sell their Bitcoins if needed by a Supreme Judge yesterday. We also went for the news topic of how many of the world's percentages inside the crypto space, a Maxi report that was revealed today. We also went for the news topic on tonight's live show regarding State Street pushing tokenization to modernize finance. Also went for the news topic of Samsung partnering up with ACH, the crypto project. We also went for the news topic on tonight's live show regarding Franklin Templeton backing a crypto project. And through the news topic of VeChain being awarded a US patent for blockchain-based identity authentication. We also went for the news topic on tonight's live show regarding Hong Kong greenlighting about 11 crypto platforms back-to-back soon to come. We also went for the news topic on tonight's live show regarding Crypto.com suing the SEC for wasting everybody's time and asking the SEC why are they favoring Bitcoin and Ethereum compared to the rest of the crypto space. We also went for a news topic on tonight's live show regarding US regulators limiting bank operations with crypto firms, and through the news topic of Standard Chartered Bank's predictions. So, if you enjoyed tonight's live show, if you watch this for the first time as well, and you're wondering who am I sharing the news to you, my name is Miles. I go by the persona of Crypto Miles, and this is the CMF live show, which stands for Crypto Miles Family. I do this live every single night. Same timing as usual, 11:25 p.m. UK time onwards. And I talk about the most recent news that's happening around the world in terms of cryptocurrency, CBDCs, AI, politics, regulations, vital information for you to know about regarding the world completely transforming into a digital era. So if you want to stay informed every single night, tune into this live show. If you enjoyed this live and you're watching this on YouTube, drop us, if you haven't already subscribe, drop a comment, drop a like. If you're watching this on X right now, drop a follow, drop a like, drop a retweet, and follow me on X if you're not following me. Tune in every single night on this live show. And I'll be seeing everybody tomorrow. See everybody tomorrow, same timing as usual. Everybody have a great day or a good night, depending on where you are around the world. CMF, see you all tomorrow, same time as usual. Also, join the communities page of this live show. So this live show is, by the way, free every single night. And this is episode 176 of the CMF live show. Join the community page of this live show is also completely free, and the Telegram group is also completely free as well. Definitely join the communities page of the CMF on X if you watch this on X. Amazing people inside of it as well. Thanks, Miles. Have a good night, everyone. See you tomorrow. Orphan, see you tomorrow, same time as usual as well. Let's go inside the comment section first. Miles, another good job tonight. Let's go, Scott. See you tomorrow, sometime as usual, brother. Good night, Miles and CMF. Thanks for all the blockchain news. Let's go, free and forever. See you tomorrow, sometime as usual. Share the live. Let's go, Scott. Great show, Miles. Great and good night, everyone. Bull XRP. See you tomorrow, sometime as usual. Mav, good night, Miles. Thanks for all the great news. See you tomorrow, sometime as usual as well. Good night, CMF. Kali, see you tomorrow, sometime as usual. Thanks, Miles. Have a good night, everyone. See you tomorrow, Orphan. See you tomorrow, same time as usual. Great love as always. Take care, Miles family. Ray, see you tomorrow, sometime as usual as well, brother. Good night, Miles and family. Brilliant live. Many thanks. See you tomorrow. Ian, see you tomorrow, sometime as usual, brother. Thank you, Miles and CMF. Good night and see you tomorrow. Mike, see you tomorrow, brother, sometime as usual. Thanks for the live, Miles. Please don't forget to share the interview with David Schwartz. Yes, I will. Night and day to all CMF. Shelly, see you tomorrow, sometime as usual as well. Thanks, Miles. Stormy, let's go. See you tomorrow, sometime as usual. Thank you, Miles, for all the news and your time. Good night, all CMF. JP, see you tomorrow, sometime as usual as well. Great live as usual. Good night, Miles and CMF. Jason, see you tomorrow, sometime as usual. Thanks for all you do for our family group. And let's go. Scott, see you tomorrow, sometime as usual. Shelly, the boss of blockchain. Let's go. I'll see everybody tomorrow, same timing as usual. Everybody have a great day or a good night, depending on where you are around the world. CMF, see you tomorrow, same time as usual. Enjoy the X communities page if you already haven't. Thanks for what you do daily for our family group. Let's go, Scott. See you tomorrow.